There's a red squirrel living in a tree just outside my window. I first noticed the squirrel thanks to my cat. I heard a noise coming from outside and saw her looking at something out the window. Here, the red squirrel has obviously spotted my cat and is making a distressed noise. Red squirrels are known to make this noise when there's a predator nearby. The red squirrel is the smallest tree squirrel in its range, much smaller than its relative, the gray squirrel. Red squirrels are typically 270 to 385 millimeters in length, while gray squirrels are typically 430 to 500 millimeters. The tail of a red squirrel is much thinner and shorter than the tail of a gray squirrel, and red squirrels have a distinctive red streak down their back and the top of their tails. Red squirrels nest in hollow trees, fallen trees, and in the ground. They make nests out of shredded bark and grass. They mostly feed on acorns, various nuts, flowers, bird eggs, and sometimes even young birds. The squirrels mate in late winter. A litter of 3 to 7 young is born in late March or April after a gestation period of 38 days. After another 38 days, the young will leave the nest but continue to be fed by their mother, and by day 45, they will begin finding food on their own. This particular red squirrel is a female. We can tell because during the breeding season, the testes of male red squirrels are often swollen. As you can see, this red squirrel has a flat genital area. March 28th was the first day I spotted this red squirrel. Throughout the end of March, she was seen sporadically. During the day, she typically only came out of the tree to groom herself. Here you can see a gray squirrel sitting on the house of the red squirrel. In this shot, you can clearly see how much bigger the gray squirrel is and how much more gray the gray squirrel is than the red squirrel. You can also see that the gray squirrel's tail is much bushier and thicker. April came along and not much changed about the squirrel's behavior. Here, she can be seen looking for buds on the end of a branch. The squirrel disappeared for many weeks at the end of April. She returned on May 2nd. Here, the squirrel can be seen lying down taking a sun bath. Here, she is eating a bone. She has some sort of obsession with this bone because I've seen her eating it so many times. As the flowers on the tree bloomed, new faces started to appear in the squirrel's home. On May 7th, the squirrel's babies started to appear. The dark spots on the mother's back help us differentiate between the mother and the babies. As you can see, the babies do not have these dark spots on their back. Here, the mother can be seen nibbling on that bone again. Here, we see the mother eating that same bone. You can see darker spots on her chest. These are most likely from breastfeeding. 4 babies total were born. The 4 babies became increasingly active throughout May. Here is the mother with those distinct dark spots. The mother does some pretty cool acrobatics right here. The babies played and explored their tree, but I never saw them on the ground. They stayed on the branches of the tree for for the entirety of their stay at their mother's house. After May 14th, the activity of the red squirrel stopped, most likely because the children became old enough to live independently. I've seen chipmunks like this one on the former home of the red squirrels, but after May 14th, I never saw those red squirrels again.